What's up, nerds? My name is Steve, and welcome to Movie of the Week. This is a brand new show here on the Flipping the Nerd network, where we are going to talk about movies that I like and movies that I don't. This is not really reviews, per se. What I'm going to do is talk about bullet points about the movies that affect me for better or for worse. They're just things I want to talk about of some of the movies that I watch, and trust me, I've seen a lot of them. For our premiere episode, I'm going to pick a movie that I really love. That is David Fincher's classic, Se7en. Before I talk about my feelings about the movie, let me explain a little bit what it's about. It's about an old detective being played by Morgan Freeman, who's on the brink of retirement. And he's about to be replaced by a young detective, played by Brad Pitt, who's going to replace him at the force. They have about a 1-week transition period where Morgan Freeman's character kind of finishes his cases and Brad Pitt starts taking his own cases. This just happens to happen on the absolute worst week, where a serial killer criminal mastermind is about to complete his so-called masterpiece. That masterpiece is him killing 7 people based off the 7 deadly sins. What are the 7 deadly sins? You know what? How about I show you what the 7 deadly sins are? These are my representations of the 7 deadly sins. We have gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride, and lust. I am so sorry that you had to see that. Oh my god, that was horrible. Well, so much for ever running for any type of office in the world. But you know what? We have to somehow move past it, erase that image completely from your brain, and discuss this super awesome movie because it deserves better than that. So let's talk about Se7en. This is probably my second favorite film ever, behind only Shawshank Redemption. And it's only because Shawshank had really special meaning to me. Se7en is just such an awesome masterpiece. We have minimal characters. I mean, we have Morgan Freeman's character, we have Brad Pitt's character, we have Gwyneth Paltrow, who plays Brad Pitt's wife, and we have the ultimate villain, which, spoiler alert, is played by Kevin Spacey, who everyone knows is awesome. There are secondary characters, but they're not very important to the overall storyline. The whole story really plays between those 4 characters. Kevin Spacey, who's not even really in it for a long time as far as camera time, he's really only seen at the end. His presence is felt throughout the whole movie. The John Doe killer is probably one of the best killers in the history of cinema. I mean, it's such a really smart and cool concept to want to do this masterpiece and really not only, just a crazy guy doing this, but anticipate what the detectives are going to do in order to complete this masterpiece. It's also a really gross movie. Anyone who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. I mean, Gluttony is this giant dude that overate himself, and you see him like on the at his autopsy, and you saw like just his stomach exploded. He's got his face inside the spaghetti bowl. I mean, it is gruesome. And then you have Sloth, where it's like this corpse in a bed, and he ends up being alive after having been tortured for a year. It's just, it really doesn't hold back any punches, and I love it for that. I think as the audience, you really need to feel what these detectives are feeling and really see just how disgusting this guy really is. His apartment's a little over the top. I mean, he is kind of the stereotype of what you would think a guy like that is in real life. Just this crazy, like, crazy notes and red crucifixes and, disgusting things in jars. I mean, it's like the really stereotype of what you think someone crazy probably lives. So that was a little off in my opinion, but overall, it's just such an awesome movie. There's little things I saw in the movie that I really want to discuss, and I'm interested to hear what you think of it. There's this really long scene where Morgan Freeman goes to the library and has this whole montage of him finding, what the 7 deadly sins are, their meaning, where they come from. And he goes through this thing, goes from book to book, and then you see him print pages, and it's this whole, like, thing. When in real life, just 20 years later, it's been about 20 years since this movie came out, I could do the exact same research in 5 minutes on the crapper. I just grab my phone. It's like, okay, gluttony, sloth. Oh, look, 7 deadly sins. Email Brad Pitt. Finish my crap. Done. The end. I just knocked it out in 5 minutes when he has this entire scene. It's just crazy to think how much technology has evolved in these 20 years. It doesn't take anything away from the movie because it is 20 years old and they didn't have this insane power of, the internet that we have now. But it's just something funny that when I watched it this time around a couple days ago, that, that's in there. And it just reminds me of a different time, which isn't that long ago, but man, has the world changed since that time. Another thing that really marked me is there's really these little comedy bits that really made me laugh, but they're very clever. There's one scene where Detective Mills, which is Brad Pitt's character, he wants to impress Morgan Freeman's character, but he doesn't want Morgan Freeman to, he just wants to kind of live up to his expectations of being an awesome cop, because Morgan Freeman's character kind of feels that he's too young and naive to be able to handle such a big case. So he tells him to read all these crazy, old books, by like Dante's Inferno and the Allegory and that kind of stuff. So he gets another cop to bring him the cliff notes of those books so that he can see what those books are about without actually reading them and having to understand them. And I thought that was really funny. And David Fincher is awesome for that. Just putting these little things that not everyone's going to notice, but if you do, it's a really awesome little tidbit. The acting is fantastic. The relationship between Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt is really, it evolves so organically and quickly. It starts off where they're butting heads because he doesn't want to give the case to this young kid. This young kid wants to take the case because he wants to show that he's just as good as a detective. And it kind of grows, and it's only within the span of a week, and it kind of grows from there, where they're waiting for something, results, and he's sleeping on Morgan Freeman, and it's made all the more impactful and great because Gwyneth Paltrow's character feels alone, and she feels for some reason that she can trust Morgan Freeman's character, so she tells him that she's pregnant without even telling her husband, which comes back in a big way at the end, and it just kind of complicates things but makes things just so real and so awesome. And Kevin Spacey. Man, Kevin Spacey has so little screen time, but he steals the show. I mean, for those who didn't get the reference, the teabag thing is just one of the things. They're showing him getting interviewed, and you have Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt kind of watching him through the glass there. And he's just twirling his teabag, and it's really nothing. He's just drinking tea. But his expression, the way he slowly does it, it's like this guy is in control. And that's exactly what they were showing. This guy, the whole movie, is in control of what he's doing. And he's got this masterpiece in his mind, completely like ready to be done. And of course, that comes to play in a big way at the end when he does complete his masterpiece, having played with Brad Pitt's character, mentally. And the movie's epic. I could not recommend it more. I struggle to find something that I don't like about it. It's just that good. Like, the only bad thing I had to say about it, it's not really bad, it's just an observation, was the apartment, because I thought it was just a little bit overdone. But honestly, if you haven't seen this movie, even if it's 20 years old, you absolutely owe it to yourself to watch it. It's awesome. I highly recommend it, and I hope you watch it as well. So that is Se7en. Watch it, love it, watch it again and again and again, and then take a shower because you're going to need it. So, see you next week on right here on Movie of the Week. That's weird. Someone just left me a box on my table. Dear Steve, use this for your next review. Wonder what it could be. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's the head I ordered. Fucking awesome. Sweet. But how can I do a review about a head? That makes really no sense. I mean, what the hell is... No. No, 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 no. It's only my second review. No. No, 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 no. No, no, fuck that, no. I'm not doing it. No. No. No.